Okay. GM. GM, everyone. Okay, so for today's class, we won't be doing any coding. And also, it's just be guides. So guides on how to deploy your Node.js application to the cloud. So there are different ways for you to deploy, and there are different approaches for you to also test. There are different types of testing, which we've talked about during our Mocha class. You can still remember, right? We talked about different type of testing, integration testing, and the likes, acceptance testing, and sort of including unit testing. So for today, I will just introduce you guys to some test libraries and framework like Jest and Super Test. So these libraries and framework are available for you to test your application to make sure that it works perfectly the way it is meant to be working. So for you to deploy your application into production, you have to test it rigorously using tools like Jest and Super Test, right? Am I communicating? If you can hear me, please send an emoji. So we have these tools and they're available for testing. So once you test and you're sure that it is working the way it is supposed to be, the next thing is for you to build your project. So there are different build tools, and we are using Node.js, right? So don't really need to worry about building. It's not front end. So what we can do is that we can try to set up a Docker file. So inside that Docker file, we have all the instructions for our application to move from the local environment to the cloud or the production environment. So what are the things that we used to do when we want to deploy? First, we have to copy the file from wherever it is to the container, right? We have to copy it. Once we copy it, the next thing is to install the code using npm install, right? Once we install, we also move forward to maybe there are big settings we need to do, maybe pass some environment variables and the likes. We also do that. Then after doing that, we fire up using the npm run start. So if you are using just the normal this thing, you can just have it like node, then the name of your entry point. If your entry point is app.js, you can say node app.js. And if your entry point is index.js, just say node space index.js and you deploy. So now there are some things you have to know when your application is in production. It's very easy to develop, but only few can push application to production. So one of the things you have to consider is security, right? So you have to consider security. You have to consider scalability, and also you have to have a contingency plan. So most people always go with like cloud as a service, or even software as a service, or even cloud function providers. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So what they do for you is that they provide you with already set up environment that you can just use to run your code. Most of the times they're always very expensive, but they are safer, and at times they can also be more scalable than what you get on your own. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when you go with these tools, you have like Vercel, right? So if you don't want to like go through the process of setting up your own container, you can use Vercel. But the problem is that when you are using Vercel, you'll be able to access some tools or some libraries or some or some settings in your Node.js app. So there are some libraries that is not support, like crypto app, or this crypto library is not supported. So you get some errors when you're pushing to Vercel and you want to deploy your Node.js app. But if you are not using any of those libraries, you are good to go, right? So you are using those libraries, right? We are using crypto for JWT, right? So we're using it for JWT, which is JSON Web Token library. So it uses the cryptographical library. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's not supported. Then any app that might require you to maybe write something to file, or because it's in a serverless environment, you don't really have access to the server. So what you have access to is a cloud function. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I can just call your code. So it's going to be like a bit restrictive. But if you want to like go with all these AWS or DigitalOcean, you can also set it up and have access to some of their marketplace apps. They are expensive, but they give you more flexibility compared to what you get with Vercel and also other providers. I think I'm trying to say. So that's it. And if you have any question, you can ask before we move forward. So if you have any question, please. Okay, someone is raising their hand. We can't see your screen. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm not starting sharing my screen and just talking about how to deploy your code. If you have any question, please raise up your hand. Okay, someone is raising up. Let me check. Any other Kelvin? Can unmute. Let me allow you to talk. Yes, you can talk now.
Okay, so I was saying that I could not see your screen before. I thought you were sharing. That's why I was raising my hand.
No, I wasn't sharing my screen, so thank you. Yeah, so that's all for today. And since there's no question, do you guys have any question? Okay, what question is that?
You mentioned AWS.
Yeah.
Is it that service?
Without using what? AWS, right? Yeah, I mentioned some other ways. I said you can use Vercel, you can use DigitalOcean, right? But they are paid, and also but one thing about AWS is it offers what we call free tiers, free trials. Do you get? You can try for up to a year. Then there are other limitations to that you have to work around. Yeah. Okay, someone asked a question. Are we going to do practical? The answer is no. Not doing the practical. Yeah. Okay, someone asked a question that when do you need Docker to deploy your application, right? So one thing about application, I will answer the question. So one thing about application is that having an application running on your local system is different from having it running on the cloud, right? So what you have to worry about now is consistency, like the ability of your application to function across different platform compatibility, right? So when you are working in a cross-platform environment, compatibility might become a problem. So with Docker, you can have access to container that ensures that regardless of the kind of operating system you are deploying on, your application still functions the way it is meant to be. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the same results you get on your local device when you're using Docker is what you also get when you are on cloud. Do you get? So when you need consistency and also the ability to maybe run microservices, so you can have your database running in one container, another, maybe your Node.js app running in one container, your Nginx running in one container. There's also another one running in another container, maybe Redis or something running in that container. Do you get me? So that's when you need Docker. But you can deploy application without Docker, and it will still work, but it won't be as reliable as you would want it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So in case maybe there's an error, it might not automatically restart. Do you get? So but with Docker, you can just tell Docker that okay, automatically restart when there's maybe an error or something. Then you can set number of times that it should restart. Then also you can specify that it should restart unless it is you manually stopped it. Yeah. And that question.
You are getting what the apprentice.
Okay.
I only hear what the apprentice. I don't see what the apprentice.
Okay. Okay. Someone asked the question that they only hear what I'm saying, but they can't see it in results. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Let's try to deploy our project, right? So you guys don't have to but I want to hear from Enola Kelvin. Enola Kelvin, you are raising up and you can unmute.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. So
Okay.
can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, sir, for blockchain development, most of the time, the job roles that are usually available, they expect you to know front end. So it's more or less like they are looking for a full stack developer most of the time. So, but when I asked the question the last time, if there is a stack as blockchain backend blockchain developer, so you mentioned what the a backend blockchain developer does, which is building APIs and then writing smart contracts. But the question I have now is that, like, are there really that much job openings for that kind of role, or most of the roles available are for people that know front end and people that know front end as well with their full stack, and because and in some cases too, you can also build an application that is a DApp or a decentralized application without using a backend, just from the front end at smart contracts. So what do you have to say, sir?
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. But one thing you have to know is that the more you know, the more what competitive you are. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if you know front end and back end, then you'll be able to attract more opportunities than someone that just knows maybe front end or back end alone. Do you get? So the more you know, the more attractive you become for job opportunities. And another thing again, you have to also note about maybe doing front end or back end is that the most important thing is for you to know what you are doing, even if it is just back end that you are doing, then know it very well and be confident that, oh, this thing I know it and I can do it anytime, any day. So that's what I tell you. But when it comes to giving statistics, or maybe like there's more job for front end or back end, I can't really say, but I do see job openings for back end developers on different platforms. So you can check out those platforms and try to apply for these jobs. But personally, I prefer people that specialize in one thing rather than knowing doing everything. But you have to know a lot of stuff, yeah. but you have to still specialize in one thing. Okay, this is my specialty. I specialize in Python, but I still know Node.js. I know this, I know that. Do you get? I know Docker, I know EKS and maybe AWS, blah blah blah. So that's what I'm going to say.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so someone asked, we should deploy our app, right? So, but the problem with deploying the app is that there are a lot of technologies involved when it comes to deploying application to production. First, you have to spin up a virtual machine, or like, we have to spin up something like an instance using AWS. So once you spin it up, the same code we have online, you can just clone it, and from there we start. We also have to open some port and do some magic settings. Yeah, so let's go. Okay, I'm back. Let me share my screen. Please pay maximum attention, please. We're dealing with a lot of terminologies and the likes. So I have my AWS account logged in already. So the next thing is I'll go to EC2. So once you go to EC2, yeah. Okay, I should what's EC2? Elastic Cloud Container Compute Service or something. So once you click on launch, then you can choose your server. Let's name it test what? Test web3 backend, right? The next thing is we choose the operating system that I want to launch on. I'm launching on Ubuntu. Then after that, after launching on Ubuntu, I can, you see that I'm using the free tier, right? So I'm using the free tier. Then I'm going to choose my architecture. This one is fine. So then the instance type, which is in terms of memory that you need and number of CPU. So let me just choose this one CPU and 1 GB of memory. Next thing is my key pair. So I can create a new key pair. So for every project, it's always nice to create a new key pair. Then I can, let me name it test web server key, right? Then I will choose RSA or this other algorithm, but I just prefer RSA. Click on this, then I will save it. So once you save your key private key on your system, you have to make sure that you keep it safe. The moment you lose access to your private key, you lose access to your server. Do you get? Except there's a workaround for you to log in via the web console. Do you get me? So now you're going to now set this up. Like, do you want to allow SSH traffic from where do you want to accept it from? Is it from my IP or from anywhere? Since I'm just doing test, right? So I can just click on anywhere, then allow HTTPS, allow HTTP traffic. But I'll be using HTTP, yeah, because I have to like do some SSL setup. Next thing is what's the storage? Let's just choose 20 gig. 20 gig should be enough for what I want to do. Then what other thing again? That's all. Don't tamper with anything here. Then click on launch. So yeah, once you click on launch, let me check. Oh, someone is asking a question. Okay. I thought Tenela was available.
Yes, I am, but I didn't get the last thing you said, sir.
Can you guys see my screen now?
No, sir, not at all. No,
Can you see my screen now?
no, 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 no. We can't see it.
Hello?
No, no, no,
Can you guys
no,
see my
sir.
screen now?
No, sir.
I think there's a problem with the app. Let me try to join. Okay, so what we did was that we tried to launch a new instance. Click on this, launch a new instance. When you scroll down, you fill some basic setup. You do some basic setup, this operating system, the architecture. Just leave this one like that because it's free. If you choose anything apart from that, you might be charged because you have to connect your debit card to this platform. The next thing is the key pair. You can create a new key pair for every project that you want to start up. Also, make sure that you're on the HTTPS and HTTP services. Then the next thing is the storage. You can choose as much as you need, maybe 20, but anything below 30 is free. So yeah, you are eligible for free tier. Then next thing is the instance. Once you do the basic setup, you will see the test. You see your server coming up. So it's few minutes before it's fully ready. So I'm going to refresh now. And yeah, so you can see that it's now fully ready. So we can connect to it. Let me say action, connect. Then how do you want to connect to it? Do you want to connect via session manager SSH via this? So we want to connect via SSH. I can, do this. Or I can do this and connect via SSH. But I won't be connecting via SSH for now. I'll just connect from using the web interface provided by AWS. Okay, so we have this. This is our server, and it's yeah, it's up. It's just like a normal operating system. So what we do now is that we have to go to our GitHub. Let's go and copy our repo URL. Let me do that. So this is the repo here, right? Let me try to get the URL. So let me go back to my server page and I will run the command git clone. So we'll be able to clone the repo from GitHub to my computer. So I've been able to clone it. The next thing I'll say cd, the name of the folder. Then the next thing I will do is I will also say ls, then cd training 23b, right? 23b. You can see ls to check practice. Because I'm in this folder, the next thing I can do is I can try to do npm install, right? If you do this, it's not going to work because no npm is installed on this operating system. So I have to install npm using sudo apt install npm, which might install an outdated version of npm. But let's try to do something like this: sudo apt get updates. Please update the repo. So let's try to update it. Yeah, so we are done. So the next thing is we have to install Node.js because you notice that on Windows, on Mac, anytime you install Node.js, that's when you get npm2 with it along, right? It's not as if we do install Node npm separately. Do you get? So what we do now is sudo apt get node, sudo apt get install Node.js, enter. So just click on yes, and you'll be able to install Node.js. You see, we've been able to install Node.js. So Node version, let's check the Node version that we are running. We are running version 12. Which is that? Is it outdated? Mr. Bass, is it outdated? Is it outdated? Our Node JS, is it outdated? It's duplicated itself, not outdated. So what do we do now? Okay, we have to update the whole operating system. Come on. Oh, sorry. Oh, wait. Yes. Let's upgrade the whole operating system. So by doing the upgrade, it's going to upgrade the whole operating system to the latest version. Just click on OK, OK, OK. Yeah. So let's try to get the node version again. We still have that same node, right? Let's try to install it again and see. Okay, we already have the latest version. So when you have a problem like this, the best thing to do is to use NVM, Node Version Manager. So with Node Version Manager, you can easily switch from one Node version to the other. If you can switch maybe back, and it also allow you to install different kind of Node version of system, because there are some projects when you're working on it in Node 8, Node 12, Node, you get, depending on what you need. So for us to install that, you have to like use the call command, which is okay, I'm coming. Let's come in, install NVM. So because the command is a bit long, so it's something you just copy on the internet. Okay. Yeah, so this is it. This is all you need. You can use widget or use call, depending on the latest version of NVM that you want to install. So I'll be using call. Let's get the call and let's start it. So I'm installing the NVM already. And the next thing, according to tutorial, is to we need to update our, let's try to do this. Let's try to update our profile configuration, which will help us to add this to path. So let's do that. So I'll be providing, what do you mean? Oh, this is for Mac. Sorry, this is for Mac OS, right? Let's try to do this. Let's say NVM FNV and let's see whether it has been installed. Not yet installed, right? So let's try to get this command again. Let's go back to the server. Okay, are we still getting the same error? Okay, yeah, it's working now. Yeah, we didn't copy the export earlier, so that's why it's not working. The next thing is for us to now source the bash RC, so which is going to load all the environment variable. Let's do that, and we can now see NVM should work now. See now that we have what NVM 0.39, which is what we installed, and we can now choose any version of Node.js that you want. If you want the latest version, just specify that, okay, I want latest, you want 0. Blah, blah, blah. So it's going to install. So NVM install latest, right? Yeah. Install latest, which is going to install the latest version of Node. Let's wait for it to. Latest not found. Are we getting any error? Sorry, let's try to pin a version. Come, let's get a Node.js version. So the latest version of Node is 20.21.6.2, right? So what we can do is nvm install that version that we have on the screen. Let's take the version 21.6.2. 21.6.2. I see that it's installing right now. So it has been installed. The next thing is Node. If you do Node now, you should have version 2.16.2. So that's how to install it. And take note, please, because if you let me press Control D, Control D, Control C. Okay, so now you have to take note of that because when you use the sudo apt-get install, it installs the old version of Node.js on your server. So if you want to install the latest one, you have to go through the nvm route. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I'll be dropping a link to this tutorial on the WhatsApp now, so I can also have access to it. So yeah, let's now move forward. The next thing we'll be doing now is we'll be I'm trying to drop it on the WhatsApp channel. Okay, so that's the tutorial on the WhatsApp channel. So the next thing is for us to now run npm install in your current directory. You see that we are installing all the dependencies for that particular project. But one thing you have to notice is that we also have one thing we have our environment variables, right? Which we've yet to like copy. So, but one thing about these things that you can use what's it called, the environment variables on your system, right? Instead of using the file based, but because of time, we'll not be doing that one. So let's say nano.env. So let's go and copy our environment variables. So we have our environment variable here, right? Let's copy it and take it to AWS. Let's paste it and save it. Control X. Yes. Yeah, so I've been able to save it using Nano. Then the next thing is for me to now run the command. I can say node what? Index.js. Let's see. So it's starting up the server. But one thing is that if you note, like the HTTP runs on what port? Port 80, right? So we have to make sure that we have a way to make sure that our node is also running on port 80 so that it can be exposed to the world. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Now we still wait. Server started already. So let's shut it down. So let's go to what? Code, sorry. Node the nano index.js. So once you go to the nano page, just change the port number to port 80, right? Let's say we have port 80 here. Let's save it. Control X, then enter. Yes, that's all. Then now let's try to run the code again. Oh, there's permission denied, and what error is that? We can't listen on port 80. Do you get? We can't do what? Listen on port 80. It's clashing with maybe a service running on the OS. So let's try to change it back to something more. Yeah. 8080 might still be available. Let's say port 8080, right? So Control X, Control X, and say yes. 8080, right? Yes. We are good to go now. So now, how do we get the address of this web server? So the other time we created the server, we should see something like public IPv4 DNS, right? So by trying to access that URL, we should be able to, let me check this, public IPv4. Just click on the instance, then scroll down. This is your private IPv4. This is your public IPv4 DNS. Just copy it, and you can also open that like this. It's unreachable. Okay, refuse to connect. Okay. So when you have an error like this and you are sure that your server is running, what could be the problem? The problem is probably from the firewall, right? So let's go and check the security settings and see that the port 8080 is not open, right? It's not open to the world. The only port open is what? 80. So we have to make sure that our inbound rule correlates with what we have for the correlates with what we have on the server, the service that is running on the server. Let's edit it and let's add a new rule. What's the new rule? Port what? 8080. Then add the rule. Then also you can specify what kind of protocol I should accept. Let's say you want to accept only TCP, right? So yeah, you can say you want to accept only TCP traffic. And so you can say custom TCP. You can just then set the port range number. Let's say port 8080. So custom anywhere. Want to accept traffic from anywhere in the world. You can also limit it based on IP address and yeah. So once you do all these basic settings, save the rule. One is saying no. Why no? Can you guys see my screen? Okay, let's continue. So we've been able to set this port 8080. So let's try to change this URL. You see, this URL, right? Just add 8080 at the back and see what we have. That we're able to reach this. We still not be able to reach it because we are getting what SSL protocol error, and that's it's not as if it is not responding this time around. It is because we don't have HTTPS certificate. So let's go to this page, and you see that we are getting error. What kind of error is this? No, it's not from this. So let's try to copy this and take it to our Postman. If you try to use from the web browser, it might force it to redirect back to HTTPS. You see that it's working now. So we have it and it's working. If I go to I copy this URL and I take it to my Postman, which I will open now. Postman. So let me create a new request. How do you do that? New request, then let's paste this right. What endpoint? We have login endpoint, right? And we have register. Let's try to reach the register endpoint for our server. You can send a post request, change the body, then put it as was raw, right? Then this can come. We have username. Is username or email? Email, right? That's a test at dev.com. Then the password can be something like this. Hello. Well, this is insecure, right? The password is not that strong. If the server is working, we should get what? Password is not. Can you see it is working, and that's how to deploy your backend code on this. Although this method is kind of still just for testing. You see, for testing, when you want to deploy, you don't use you don't use manual setup, right? You use something like Docker. Do you get to something like Docker to manage your backend, something like this? You see, this is what we have here. From instead of trying to install Node.js manually yourself, you can just tell Docker to install Node.js, copy all the files, run this, change the work directory, copy the code from here. Then what user are using to run the process? Node, right? And that's why we are setting we are doing the ch own, which is change owner to node, right? Then after that, what do you want to run? npm run start. And what port do you want to run it on? Port 8080. So instead of doing the manual process, you can use Docker to also automate everything you want to do. So because one thing is that there are a lot of terminologies and things you need to know, and it might seem a bit that's why we're not delving into that for now. However, we are really interested in knowing more. The support team is available. So if you can send what you've been able to do on your own, then be able to assist you to set up your Docker file. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining today's class. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask before we call it a day. So that's the end of our boot camp training. The next thing is a hackathon. Let's try to build amazing projects. And we've released the names of people qualified for the hackathon based on attendance and also project submission. So if you need anything, let me know and be able to assist you. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Yeah.